Dr. Chetna. And first of all, my gratitude to Taru Foundation and Global Compact Network for inviting us and talking about the most critical activity of economic development and social development. I would, in this particular session, share my experience as an entrepreneur, and I think that will be a pretty strong justice that I would do. Just to give you a background, I am a financial services specialist, and I had a corporate career till 2010. And in 2010, I quit a corporate career to start, not really start, to basically try and explore possibilities of providing clean drinking water and sanitation to rural villages in the country. So we started a company called as Aquacraft Projects Private Limited. This was not a B2B or a B2C or a B2G, but it was a B2C, a business to society. So this whole idea was to try and develop a nationwide clean drinking water and sanitation network, which would provide sustainable solutions in addressing water and sanitation needs in the country. As all of you all are aware, 80% of our country is rural, and 80% of our country gets their drinking water from groundwater. Historically, right since independence till now, basically bore wells have been dug to provide access to clean drinking water. But rampant digging of bore wells eventually has gone across and taken the groundwater down dramatically low. And the lower the groundwater, the deeper the groundwater, the higher is the contamination of metals. So this started posing public health risks. So if you look at it, in the eastern parts of the country, we have arsenic as a heavy metal, which causes cancer. And in the western parts of the country, we've got fluoride as a heavy metal, which causes complete problems as far as bones and teeth is concerned. So typically, what would happen is that anything that is not palatable and as an essential need as water, and it is not available in a sustainable fashion, was something which we realized. We were armed with a technology, a patented technology, which we got from the US, which was totally green in nature. So that is what inspired us to try and explore trying and implementing this kind of a technology. So what happens is the most actively used technology for treating water today is reverse osmosis. Now, reverse osmosis plants have been set up all across the country. But the biggest problem in the country was that reverse osmosis is dependent completely on power. It needs continuous electricity to function. So only very lately we are seeing more electrification of villages, but historically, power has been a great challenge in the country. So that was one of the reasons. Second reason, this technology would end up wasting 1 liter of water for every liter it treated. That means you're pulling out 1 liter of water from the ground and then again giving 1 liter of concentrated contaminated water back in the ground. So it's a corrosive way of doing things. Lastly, it was throwing out poisonous sludge, which was not very environment friendly. So looking at these things, for the first 2-3 years, we just went around propagating a technology which we had, which works on gravity. If I get a 4 feet head, which is there in almost all the villages in the country, because a borewell is dug and the water is pumped up onto an overhead tank from where it is distributed. I'm just telling you what we are trying to do, and then I'll come to the whole idea of how we turned into an entrepreneur and more into a social entrepreneur. So this is just a context before we get on to doing this. So then we thought that it's very important for us to try and explore this green technology, which worked on gravity and did not waste any water and did not throw out any sludge. Similarly, we innovated a technology for treating sanitation. So in our bio toilets that we have created a technology that does not require water for flushing. Here, the fecal matter gets converted through a bioprocess into liquid fertilizer through a biodigester, and the liquid flows down into the ground. All water that you need is only to clean oneself. So again, the non-sustainability of toilets across the country the biggest challenge has been access to water. So fundamentally, what I'm trying to say is that water is a very, very critical resource. which has been hitherto taken for granted in our country, not just in our country, in the world. And fast, water is replacing oil as a precious commodity. And the recent pandemic of corona clearly shows that the only way that you can keep a pandemic away or fight the pandemic is by continuously washing your hands, maintaining cleanliness, maintaining hygiene. For this, what is needed is water. We have never respected water. Lord Almighty started the world. First, He gave people. Then, when people came in, they said they had to eat something, so they created plants. And when they created plants, they said they had to survive, so they created oxygen and water. And this is how things started moving. But suddenly, mankind said that, I can do things better than God. So they started cutting trees, they started serious deforestation, huge infrastructure development, abuse of natural resources, and finally, God pressed the reset button and told mankind that you are only guests in this place. If you do not respect nature, if you do not respect anything, it's not going to come back to you. So the more we try and I would not want to say abuse, but misuse the natural resources, which we do not have a definite sort of logic why it is existing. They're all naturally existing. Life is naturally existing. Earth is naturally existing. We really don't know who created this, but there is a sort of a force which has to be respected, which is nature. So fundamentally, we thought that just by going and creating a filtration system or a toilet doesn't make any sense. That everybody is doing. A lot of people are selling home filtration system. A lot of people are selling, water filters. A lot of people are selling membranes, and they're creating toilets. All these things are fine. But we thought, how do you create a sustainable solution out of this? So the first challenge that we faced was that government by statute cannot create a program. Now, of course, it has started, but historically, the only way was a public procurement mechanism through a tender, which had a defined activity for which there were precedences already available. We, with the new technology, it was very difficult for us to do that. But fortunately, in around 2013-14, the CSR law came into existence, and we could speak to a lot of, responsible corporates who bought into the idea of what we are talking about. And that's when this journey of creating long-term sustainable programs were created. As Sharmaji rightly mentioned, one of the areas of entrepreneurship development was CSR, and we have picked up that model. Our business runs on the model of sustainability and CSR initiatives of various corporates, wherein we tell them that we have a certain technology, we have a certain idea, and we have a certain model which we have already developed. We want to work along with you and work as partners and not as vendors, because that is the final objective, that we need to develop the total village in terms of basic, as Dr. Manorama ji mentioned about the Human Development Index. The HDI is a very, very important and critical factor of our business model, wherein we say that if we give clean water, clean sanitation, good community health, and basic hygiene, then the basic fundamental right of every human being is addressed. That's where our philosophy of our business is service to nation and service to mankind. So our overall business model from selling a water technology turned out to be a social development initiative. This is where we started this program called as Swachh. Now, Swachh is not just toilets. Swachh means S is for sanitation, WA is water, C is community, H is health, and H is hygiene. So sanitation and water for community health and hygiene. And we created a revolutionary movement called as Swachhagraha, where Swachh is this, and Agra is an invitation to all stakeholders across government, corporates, volunteers, non-profits, and everybody, elected representatives, to come together and build a clean, green, and healthy India. Anything that you do in the rural area needs to have active participation of the community, otherwise it is not going to be sustainable. This is when we started implementing various programs, and we identified the need first very clearly. So before going into creating any activity, especially in rural India, it's very important for you to understand and validate the need from a community standpoint, not from your standpoint. You would feel this is the need, but when you go down to the community, they will say, no, this is not what we want. So it's very important to do a very effective need analysis. So we created the 5 I's. Our basic business model is premised on the model called as AQUAS. So AQUAS is access, quality, utility, advocacy, and sustainability. So if you don't have water to treat, what will you do? So we have created integrated watershed development management programs where we augment the water table, and not just augment the water table, but produce water, because it's very important to create water. And the only way to create water is active afforestation, in addition to rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharge. Once we have established the access, second comes the quality. Then we have technologies which are totally green and sustainable to convert any sort of a water, except seawater, into potable water. Then comes the most effective usage of water. Government of India says that per capita for drinking and cooking purposes should be 5 liters, and per capita for biomass should be 55 liters. So we try and compute this particular thing and ensure that this much water is available, access is available, then it is treated, and it is distributed equitably amongst each per capita rather than just wasting it and floating it. So we created community drinking water systems and water ATMs, where water is sold at a very minimal price. It's not given free, because anything that is given free is abused. Similarly, we implemented community toilets as well. Finally, advocacy, which is the most important part. You give a nuclear science, you give a rocket, you give a plane, but if the person who's going to be the user is not ready to use it, you can't do anything. So it's very important for you to have a continuous engagement with the community, build about a proper advocacy platform which tells what your model is all about, how it is going to benefit, and what is their role and responsibility, not in terms of managing and operating it, but also protecting it and securing it. Then the entire philosophy of AQUAS, the operating model is 5 I's. First I is incidence of a problem. Understanding the problem is very important. Then innovating a solution. Every intervention is an innovation by itself, because India is a very diverse country, and it's got the demographics, the socioeconomics, and a lot of other factors which I would not want to talk about right now for in the benefit of time. There are a lot of other factors which go into identifying this thing. Then is invitation to all the stakeholders. Water is a state subject. We cannot say that, we do everything. There's a government, there's a community, we are there, our corporate partners are there. We all get together and say that this is the solution, this is the project, this is how it's going to be implemented, this is the monitoring program, this is the institutional governance structure, so on and so forth. After that is implementation of the program. And finally is impact assessment and monitoring. So in these 5 I's is we spread out our entire thing and implement a program. So the Swachhagraha, which actually started as a socio-economic development model, now has become a revolution. We are working with large MNCs for the sake of confidentiality. I'll not be able to declare much about what we're doing with them. But last but not the least, we are now implementing what is known as a Aqua Bank. Aqua Bank is a concept like a normal bank. Only thing, we are replacing currency with water. And water stressed areas can borrow water from water positive areas. But having said that, at the same time, they will implement all water conservation and watershed management programs to augment the water table. So eventually, by 2030, which is the Sustainable Development Goal target, we want to create India as a water positive country. So this is our objective. We work very closely with the Global Compact Network of India. We are the drinking water and sanitation partners. And Swachhagraha, which is a socio-economic development model, enables 12 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and with a major focus on entrepreneurship development and livelihood creation for women. Last but not the least, I'll just share a small, another story of entrepreneurship. The pandemic hit sometime in March, and my daughter, who was studying in Canada, had to come back to India. So at that time, there were no masks available. Face masks were a rarity. So she said, if we do not have it, what will the poor do? So I come from a place called as Dharwad in Karnataka, which is the Khadi capital of India, where all the Indian flags are hand woven. So she, along with a cousin, innovated a Khadi face mask, crowd-funded money, We gave it to the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, the Mumbai Police, and everybody. And she converted a crisis into an opportunity. And today that thing has become a more sustainable business because Khadi face mask is the one which is reusable, it is organic, it's biodegradable, and consumes much less water than a normal cloth mask is concerned. And it is permeate, I can wear it. So what I'm trying to say is that there are every crisis, there is an opportunity. It's important to identify the crisis because when we started this business, a lot of people told us, you've got a good objective, but you'll have a lot of challenges. Every challenge, every frustration, every tribulation only made our conviction even higher that we have to do this. So on July 22nd, we complete 10 years of our existence, and we are the only company, by the grace of Lord, recognized by the Economic Times as champions of sustainable solutions who have survived for 10 years, created models which are sustainable. Our systems are functioning for more than 6 to 7 years without maintenance, giving the same amount of activity. And we have not just talked about it, but we have demonstrated sustainability as the bane and the base of our business model. So I just wanted to share this as a story. And so with hand washing becoming very, very critical, we have innovated another innovation, which is a water positive hand washing station, which only uses 20% of the water from a normal hand wash. And after washing with soap, the gray water gets treated and recycled back. So in remote areas and places where water is stressed and where hand washing is very, very important, we have been rolling out this very shortly and implement these in public places. So innovation is very important in entrepreneurship. And most important is that you are exposed to unlimited risk the day you become an entrepreneur. You're functioning in an environment where there is no precedence. You have got a country as diverse as India. You've got diverse demographics, diverse socioeconomics, multiple multi-parametric considerations for your success, policy, regulatory, risk, everything is there. My only sort of advice to a lot of people is that stay put on your conviction, have your conscience clear, your integrity high, and as Sharma ji rightly mentioned, underlying passion is very, very important for a successful entrepreneur. If you're not passionate and if only money making is your point, then you're not going to be an entrepreneur. It's important that you ally a passion, you ally a certain conviction to your entire business model and to your entire activity. And don't write a business plan before you start a business. The plan will evolve. After you're successful, people will write a business plan on how you got succeeded. Don't write it in the beginning. So I think I've taken much time, and I would thank again all the fantastic panelists, Nitin ji, Manorama ji, Sharma ji, and Chetna ji. Thank you very much.